Live from the Student Union on campus, this is Gold Mine Live. Your weekly all-access pass inside Charlotte Athletics is brought to you by Ortho Carolina. Proud to present the 2018 Charlotte 49ers football season. Bojangles, it's bow time. Harris Teeter, where 49ers fans shop for groceries. University Eye Associates, excellence is eye care. And by Wells Fargo. Charlotte 49er fans, show your pride with a customized Wells Fargo debit card. Stop by your nearest Wells Fargo or visit Wells Fargo Car Design Studio online to learn more. Now, here's your host, the voice of the 49ers, Matt Swierad.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Gold Mine Live this week with head coach Ron Sanchez talking Niner basketball. And it's a big week for both the Niner men and women. The women coming off a win against East Carolina this last Saturday at home. And they've got Wake Forest at home on Wednesday. We go to Wake Forest on Thursday, Coach. It's kind of like Wake Forest week for the Niners this week. Yeah,
it's like my old days in the Pac-10 or Pac-12 now, where the men played, the same team at home, and, vice versa, the women would play at home.
And, coming from Virginia like you did the last many years, Wake Forest really well, and Coach Danny Manning, what he's trying to do over there. Mm-hmm. And that place, the Joel Coliseum, can always be a tough place to play.
It is. I don't remember ever having an easy game, there during my time at Virginia.
So we come off a week that we saw this young team go on the road for the first time and go to Davidson, go to Charleston this last weekend. What did it take for the first couple of games on the road, looking back now after a couple of days?
We're always searching for victories. As we are have embarked on this journey, for us is trying to find the areas where we are improving. And I think that there was a drastic improvement in very specific areas for us from game 1 to game 2 on the road. Obviously, playing at home is a lot easier than playing on the road. And, I think that at Davidson, we came flat in a few different areas. But I think that our second road game, I think they responded to the week of practice. And I think they learned and applied some of the things that we emphasized this week.
Coming up on the show, we got a full hour to talk to Coach Sanchez. Also, our special player guest is Milos Supica. He'll be coming up next segment. And then assistant coach Aaron Fearne, new to the program. We'll spend some time with Coach Fearne coming up a little bit later during this hour as well. Coach, we did go to Davidson last Tuesday. It was the 45th meeting, the battle for the Hornets' Nest Trophy, and Davidson did win the ball game 76-56. But kind of, you mentioned taking things from each game, and it was a game that these young guys, only John Davis is somebody right now on this team that had ever experienced this game at Davidson. So for the young guys, it was a chance to see a rivalry matchup up close.
No, definitely, and it's for them, when we were in the locker room, we discussed how important this game was, and not from a winning and losing standpoint, but, for the city, and it's something that the young guys are going to, really have to learn how to value. But for the most part, again, it was our first road game as a team, and like you said, John is the only one that had been in that building before. So, I think we did start off in the first half. I thought we played well for the most part, and then had some breakdowns in the second half that cost us. But as far as us as a team, I think that it was an opportunity to grow, and I think that we did.
And you talk about the rivalry aspect of it. As you grow here and spend more time here, and our players, we get more in the Charlotte area that come here to play. These guys spend summers together, playing in summer leagues, and they get that rivalry going during the summertime. Then it kind of comes to a head that one time a year on the court, either at Davidson or at Charlotte.
No, definitely, and just from personal experience, it's important, that when you're out there during the summers or your off time, when you see your peers, that you kind of approach you with a little chip on your shoulders, and that you competed well and that you had an opportunity to get a W and so on. And again, I'm hoping that these guys do develop that type of grit about that game.
And it's a good game to have this time of year, because as you do look to continue to grow and learning every day, day. It was a team that you could always have to go back to the tape and show them that, hey, 30-second shot clock. You gotta play defense for all 30 seconds. Otherwise, they'll backdoor you. They'll make a shot. They'll make a screen and find an easy shot.
Oh no, definitely. And it's kind of like being a parent, where you tell your kid, hey, don't do this, and this is going to happen, and until they go through it, they don't really believe you. But again, I do believe that in the first half we did contain them fairly well. I don't remember the score, but I think we were within striking distance. Didn't shoot the ball particularly well. At that point of the game, and we were still in it. So as far as them, they thought it was going to come easy, and we encouraged them to stay the course and not to take their foot off the defensive, pedal, and and honestly, that I believe that we did.
And final thought on that. You mentioned before the game, and probably more so too after the game, you had a respect for what Coach McKillop has been able to do up there for all those years, and I wish them luck going forward. But a team that again fundamentally sound, and as we go and grow this year, that's the type of team that you want to become.
No, definitely. He's done an amazing job. Obviously, respect for coaches across the country that do really good job, and he's definitely one of those. When you see what they've been able to accomplish over the years, you don't do that by mistake. Obviously he's a very good coach, but you watch his team play, they don't beat themselves. They are fundamentally sound. They take care of the basketball, they take high quality shots, they are skilled from the perimeter, and they've been together for a while, and that type of experience kind of allows you to play through some adversity, and they play well together, they mesh well together. They go from one play to the next, what we call phase-to-phase basketball. They don't halt, and that's what makes them really, really hard to guard.
This last week, we took a step forward too, and not turning the ball over as much. And there's still a couple of points in games that you mentioned that you wish you had done a better job, handling the ball at a certain time. But overall, big picture, the numbers came down considerably.
No, definitely. Taking care of the basketball, not giving up, offensive rebounds, and not giving up transition baskets are areas that we're going to always continue to, to emphasize and try to improve in. Those are areas that we call that help you eliminate losing. But when you have turnovers that lead to points on the other end, or we call live ball turnovers, those really hurt you. And I think the game on Saturday, we had a few of those at the wrong time, that really hurt us. I think it was a 2-point ball game, and we had about 2 or 3 of them kind of consecutive that kind of opened up the game within a 3-minute stretch that put us in the hole, and we did try to fight back, but didn't have enough.
The game at Charleston, the Cougars, very good NCAA tournament team a year ago, NIT the year before that, and probably one of the favorites this year in the Colonial to get back to the big dance. And you guys really played them hard. I know we're not looking at moral victories right now, but as you look at the game as a whole, 1-point game at halftime, had a chance last possession, first half, to go up into the locker room. And then as you fell down 10-11 in the second half, it was back and forth. It was a lot closer in the final score. But as you fell down late 10-11, again, the resilience. These guys they don't quit, kept fighting back, and found a way to make it really a 2-possession game in the final minute.
No, we did. And I said it before. And I'm very transparent with our guys. When they fight, we tell them that you fought. And when you don't fight, we really are very clear about it. We didn't have the fight that we should have, in this game. But I do agree. They played hard. They never quit. And it's really hard to do when you really have an 8-man rotation. We had a couple guys in foul trouble. Obviously, they took 23 free throws. I don't remember what the foul count was, but it was definitely a road game for us, as I like to say. But it was a challenge. Guys were tired, because they were playing hard, and I think some of the mistakes that we made down the stretch came down to fatigue, and unfortunately, there was no one else to put in the game. So we just got to keep battling and keep fighting and keep learning and growing. As coaches and as players, we're going to try to manage, how do we rest while the game is going on? That's the real challenge without taking your foot off the defensive side. Because if you tell them to rest during the game, they're going to rest during defense. So we got to make sure we don't say that. But at the same time, you want to keep, their defense on their toes by moving the ball and so on. It's a fine balance, and I think we're getting closer to finding that.
We talked about this a lot. It'll be a theme throughout the season. But for us to win, it's going to be because of our defense. But you still have to score. And I thought on Saturday, Saturday. These young guys, they started to make some shots early. You made 10 threes in the ball game, and certainly the shooting was not the reason why we didn't win that game.
No, definitely. You know, and I go back to our improvement from game 1 to game 2. You know, I mean, we grabbed 11 offensive rebounds. I think that's great for us. We shot the ball particularly well, you know, from the three-point line. We shared the ball well. It wasn't just, you know, one-on-one basketball. It was a pass, kind of a hockey assist, as we like to say. A few plays were made that equal kind of what we've been working on in practice, and that's nice to see, because, you know, we got to get it done in practice first, and then be able to do it while we're on the floor against good competition. And I do believe, you know, Earl's doing a great job at Charleston, and, you know, they fought hard, you know, to pull off that victory. It's not as if, you know, they walked in and, you know, it was handed to them. You know, we lost the game. You know, they didn't just we didn't give it to them.
Sharing the ball, you know, the post players, Jalen Haslam, and we're going to talk to Milos in a little bit. Milos Supica did a great job at, you know, making that extra pass, talking about kicking it back out, getting the open shot, or the guards finding them for easy, good looks around, you know, at 5 feet in the basket.
No, definitely. You know, and they are both improving. I said before, I believe that Milos is a guy that should be able to average double figures. You know, he should be a 10-point scorer, in my opinion. I think if he continues to work hard and battle, those opportunities will be presented to him. I think we did leave a few points on the board, you know, with a few kind of easy baskets. I remember in the first possession of the second half, we kind of had a set drawn up, and, you know, the guy tried to flop for a charge and fell on the floor, and the refs did a good job of not calling, and then Milos underneath the basket stepped on the sweat and slipped, you know, kind of took 2 points away. That one really hurt, because it's nice to come out in the second half and execute what you planned in the locker room, but then, you know, to miss a wide open bunny in front of the rim because, you know, you slip on the floor. It's unfortunate. Also, probably a sigh of relief, though, that nobody got hurt, because we are so thin in that rotation, right? Definitely. Honestly, we can't afford, you know, to lose anyone. And as you look at the numbers, you can see that, you know, Cooper Robb did not play many minutes. You know, he was struggling a little bit with an ailment. We're going to find out today how he's doing. You know, but not having him was also hard for us, because he has kind of been in our heart defensively, you know, taking charges and defending tough players and so on. And he's done a really good job. Watching his growth has been very encouraging. But to watch him not be able to play was hard. But he's so tough. You know, he said, "Coach, I'm going to give it a try, and if I can't go, we'll figure it out. But I'm going to try the best that I can." And, tip of the hat to Jalen McGill, because you've been challenging him, and he came in there, especially on the glass, did a nice job, because Cooper couldn't go. No, he did. Again, you know, it's one thing, you know, when you're a player and you know, hey, man, there's going to be a chance. I think all those guys in the locker room are excited to, you know, show up, because they all do play. And, you know, it's the one carrot right now that they have is they work hard. Coach is going to give me an opportunity to show, you know, what I can do. Right now they are working hard, and they will all have an opportunity. Every man will be called on at one point or another this season. One of them that had a good week is going to join us next. We'll take a timeout on the show right now, first timeout here in Goldmine Live, and let Coach take a break for a moment. We're going to bring in Milos Supica, talk to Milos. Then after that, we'll bring in Aaron Fearne, the Niner assistant coach from Australia, who joined us this year, talk about what it's like to be now coaching this Niner team with Coach Sanchez and this new first staff here in 2018-2019. This is Goldmine Live on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Bring all the gifts for under the tree. And while you're at it, bring the tree. Ford F-150. Best-in-class payload. Best-in-class towing. Built for the holidays.
Now get 0 for 72 on F-150, or get an additional $1,000 holiday bonus cash on top of other offers at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Welcome back to Goldmine Live here at Norm's this week inside the Student Union. Matt Swierad with you, alongside now Milos Supica, Niner sophomore from Serbia. Milos, good to see you. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Yes,
it's already December, and you guys, you know, had the preseason, which was awfully difficult, and now you got some games under your belt. To the first month, what's it been like for you?
You know, we played already 6 games, and it's a really good experience for us, because we are so young and all that. So, you know, it's kind of a learning process for us. We learn every game, and you know, it's an exciting process for me, like, personally. And I'm looking forward to, the conference, conference play and all that. So
you were telling me recently, the difference with this year's team and new coaching staff and emphasis on defense. It's a learning process for you, a little different than the way you were playing, of course, growing up in Serbia.
Yeah, as I said before, that's a biggest adjustment I had to make, in order to play American basketball. It's the pace of the game. It's a lot faster, a lot more physical. So I had to work on that a lot my first few years in U.S.
Been working on getting stronger, of course, in the weight room and eating. And I spent some time last year talking to you and Luka Vasic, who's your roommate, also from Serbia. And you had to make you'd been here in the States a little bit, but learning to what to eat and how to stay healthy and how to put weight on at the same time while you're playing.
Yeah, but yeah, I had to get used to American food, because it's a whole different kind of food and seasonings you had to put in food. And yeah, I try to work on my body as much as I can with Blake, so I can perform better when the game comes. And from the last season I was 236, now I'm 225. I got my weight down a little bit, but I got faster, a little more athletic than I was last year. So I'm still working on it, trying to get better and stronger every day.
We'll probably talk to him at some point during the show this season, but tell us about Luka. He had the knee injury during the summer, had surgery. I spoke to him before the Davidson game. He's excited because he's now running. He's working out with Blake in the weight room. How's he doing?
He was, of course, he was sad when he got injured and all that. He thought he was going to take a long time, to recover, but it will. But he's way ahead of the, recovery process, so he's going to come back earlier than he was supposed to. But he's doing really good. He's happy, knowing that he's going to come back before he was supposed to. So he's looking forward for next season. He's excited for us too. So.
Is it nice for you? Is it a comfort factor having Luka part of this team, being so far away from home?
Yeah, definitely. It's since I live only with him, sometimes I personally get tired of speaking only English and all that, so I can use speaking some Serbian with him, because we live together, and it feels good to have someone from a country around you, because we come from the same city, same culture, and all that. Some people from the U.S. don't understand me sometimes, where I come from. So, I have Luka who does. So, I have some support.
How's it been on campus for you guys? You have a lot of friends, your teammates are great and everything, but on campus and getting acclimated when you first got here and with your studies as well?
It was not that hard for me personally to adjust to the academics and all that, because I think the school is kind of a little bit easier here than it was in Europe, because we were my major right now, business. Because I went to the business school in Serbia. It's a business high school actually, and we only learned about business, math, stats, and all that. So when I took it here, I was already kind of familiar with material, so it was kind of easier for me to get used to it, and I already knew it. So.
Well, after you're done playing basketball and you decide you want to go into the next phase of your life, your parents have some businesses in Serbia, you get a chance to do that. You're talking about learning more languages. You already speak 4.
Yes,
how difficult is that to pick up another language and to speak 4 like that? That's amazing.
Yeah, I always wanted to speak as many languages as I can, because I love just traveling, learning other cultures and languages. That's always been something that I wanted to to achieve, to speak more than 6-7 languages, and I'm working on it right now, because in my major it requires to know multiple languages, in order to get a better job. You can work overseas somewhere, and and my parents in Serbia, they own companies which I can work for with my degree, and knowing multiple languages is gonna only help me get a better spot in a company. So
we know English is one, Serbian. What's the other 2?
German and Russian.
German and Russian. Okay. What's the next one you want to learn?
Spanish.
Taking some classes now?
Yes, sir. I'm taking Spanish class right now.
Any commonalities to make it a little bit easier to pick it up from other languages?
So what?
Any commonalities from that language to what you already know, making it easier to pick it up, or is it more difficult?
No. Every language I know right now is totally different from another one. You know, German and Russian and Serbian have some similarities, but they're still totally different languages. You know, they have the same accents, but it's different language. So, and German is just another level.
Which makes it all the more impressive that you've got 4 already with more to come. Talking to Milos Supica, a sophomore from Serbia with the Niner basketball team here on Gold Mine Live. And tell us a little bit about maybe some things that we don't know about your native country that you're awfully proud of, and what makes it so special for you.
You know, I'm proud to come to Serbia because Serbia is known for basketball. You know, it's a big basketball country, and people in Serbia, there's only 2 main sports, soccer and basketball, but people are more for basketball because our national team is pretty good at it. You know, past 2 big championships we played against the U.S., but we lost both of it, which is not a bad thing. We're still second best, but, you know, I'm proud to be from Serbia, from a big basketball culture. And, you know, I had already my host family from the U.S. They came to Serbia. That I lived here when I was in high school. That was in Serbia, and they liked it. They loved it. People are just like, you know, people. They just love like tourists, like Americans and all that. So, you know, we might not love food, but you know, you're gonna like people. They're gonna around you. So.
Well, I know you love the game and watch as much as you can, but you're not a practice or playing for the 49ers. Is there a team in the States, NBA team, that you like to watch?
Yeah, definitely. Denver Nuggets, that's my favorite team right now.
How come?
And my favorite player plays for them, which is Serbian, Nikola Jokic. You know, I just love his
having a good year, too.
Yeah, he's having a really good year. You know, I just like his style of play, the way he, like, his offensive skill set. He can pass, he can shoot, he can like post up, dribble. He involves the whole team. He makes his team better. So, you know, that's what I love about him. And he's a really good guy. I met him a few times because my cousin actually, he hangs out. He's a really good friend with him. So I met him like with my brother, and he's a really cool guy to hang out with. So, you know.
That's pretty great. Hey, as we wrap this up, I want to just ask you one more time as you go forward. You got the big holiday tournament coming up, of course, in Hawaii. Looking forward to that trip and maybe seeing the islands for the first time outside of not just the basketball. I know it's going to be a business trip for us to play some basketball, but to get out there to Hawaii.
Yeah, that's Hawaii is one of my 2, dream places I wanted to go to since I was a kid, and now I have a chance to go to actually play basketball there, which is even better. And, I'm looking forward to playing against some really good teams, and hopefully get a win. So I'm
try
excited.
And get in the ocean a little bit, too?
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. If it's warm enough, definitely, yeah. Go swim with some sharks,
Hey, Milos, thanks so much, man. Good luck on exams coming up, and have a great week against Wake Forest and South Florida. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Milos Supica has been our guest, sophomore from Serbia. We'll come back and meet another newcomer to the program, assistant coach Aaron Fearne, as we continue with Gold Mine Live here from Norms, the Student Union, this week on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Bring all the gifts for under the tree. And while you're at it, bring the tree. Ford F-150. Best-in-class payload. Best-in-class towing. Built for the holidays.
Now get 0 for 72 on F-150 or get an additional $1,000 holiday bonus cash on top of other offers at your Carolina Ford dealer.
And welcome back to Gold Mine Live. I want to thank Milos Supica for taking some time on this Monday afternoon to spend some time with us here at Gold Mine Live. We're at Norms this week in the Student Union. And now I want to welcome in Aaron Fearne, newest Niner assistant coach with this new staff coming in this season with Coach Ron Sanchez. Coach, good to see you. Hope you're doing all right.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing great. So thanks for having me.
So tell us about becoming a 49er. Spent a lot of time in the pro ranks in Australia, but now coaching with Coach Sanchez in this first season with the Niners. What's it been like?
Yeah, look, it's been definitely a big change. Coaching pros and their level of basketball IQ and feel for the game is obviously at a whole nother level, and understandably. I mean, they're pros for a reason, and we've got a lot of young guys here, and getting them to understand the the game at a higher level, and it's been enjoyable. It's very rewarding when you coach the younger guys. I mean, I've you know, spent my career coaching a lot of younger guys as well, and guys that have moved on, played in the NBA and played professional basketball in Australia and Europe and so on and so forth. And yeah, I always find it a lot more rewarding coaching the younger guys than the pros. You know, the pros are business. You know, coaching the kids, it's you know, it's more fun and like I've said, a lot more rewarding.
Folks listening can probably figure it out, but born in New Zealand, lived a lot in Australia, and coached for a long time in Australia before coming here. What made this interesting to get back into the college game, or you know, really kind of dive in for the first time?
Yeah, look, I've been coaching pro basketball in Australia for 17 years and 9 as a head coach, and you know, I've been in the same place for that whole time, which has been extremely fortunate to do that in professional sport, to be in one place for that long. I've probably felt the last few years it was been time for a change. And you know, I've known Ron for a long time, back in the Washington State days when I helped place a player there, Aaron Baines, who plays for the Celtics now, and known Ron for a long time, and have kept a relationship and helped them get a kid at Virginia last year that he was recruiting, Cody Statman, who's from Cairns, from my hometown, and he called me up and said, there's an opportunity here, would I be interested? And you know, it's a massive change for us. You know, the kids have been born in Australia and growing up there, and we've lived there for 20 years, and they know nothing else than Cairns and Australia, and changing high schools for them, and new job for my wife, and new challenge for me. So you know, a lot of decisions had to be made, and it's been fantastic. I mean, people here are unbelievable and very welcoming, and really enjoying the role.
Talking to assistant coach Aaron Fearne, now in his first season with the Niners. So the family making the transition from Australia, have they enjoyed Charlotte, the city, Charlotte?
Yeah, no, they have. You know, there's lots to do here, obviously, with the pro sports and the college environment, and you know, they both play basketball themselves, and you know, junior and freshman in high school, and you know, both got some talent, and you know, we'll see how they go in this environment. Totally different environment here. They'll have to grow a lot, and you know, it's going to be definitely extremely beneficial for their games and just for their life experience. You know, new high school, new environments, new people, but been fantastic to date.
Last month we announced the recent signings that we had. 4 of them, 1 from New Zealand. Tell us about our player from New Zealand.
Yeah, Anzac Rosetto played on the under-17 national team at the World Champs last year. Big kid, you know, 6'10", 250, 240 probably right now. What attracted me and to our program, and what the coaches liked about him, was he's a team-first guy, but a fierce competitor. He'll play with great physicality like most Australians, you know, and New Zealanders do. I think he's got a tremendous upside, a lot of growth in his game. He has come from a pretty tough environment, so nothing's been easy for him, and you know, I know he's really looking forward to getting here and helping this program grow, both, you know, skill-wise but culturally. You know, I think that's a big thing that, you know, coach has done an unbelievable job of to date, is instill a culture of discipline and expectation. It's you know, you need to do that if you want to be really, really good, and we need to bring in players, and that will help build that culture here, and we think we've got some guys coming in that'll do that.
You know, last couple of years we had an assistant coach from Europe, and we've learned a lot from Milos and Luka Vasic about Serbia, and Coach Simovic was in Spain as well. Tell us about basketball in New Zealand and Australia, and what makes it maybe a little different over there.
Yeah, look, I think the Australians and New Zealanders that come over and play here in college basketball, I think they're always renowned as being very good teammates, very physical, competitive players. A lot of Australian basketball players grow up playing Australian rules football, so they have that physicality ingrained in them. You know, they've been hit. They hit people. That's what you do in Australian rules football. And so then when you take that to the basketball environment, getting hit and hitting people is just part of their nature. So yeah, I think in general we play the game very physically. You know, Matthew Dellavedova, for example, is always criticised for being a dirty player. Well, he's not. I mean, I know him well enough to know he's definitely not that. He's just very competitive and very physical, and sometimes that rubs people the wrong way. Look, basketball in Australia is at a massive peak right now. You know, what have we got, 11 guys in the NBA right now. Our national team's going to be very, very competitive at the World Cup. We're going to play the Australian team, the US team in Australia next August in an AFL stadium that's going to hold about 50,000 people. It's going to be an unbelievable event, and you know, can they be very competitive against the US and the rest of the world? They definitely will be. But when you get to that environment, you know, normally a few shots here and there are the difference. So, yeah, look, the game is very, very strong. We have more kids playing college basketball here in the US than any other country in the world. There's like 350 kids over here playing college sports. And New Zealand's the same. For a little country, you know, New Zealand's only 4 million people, and as competitive as they are in their sports, you know, they just have a great dedication to their craft, and you know, but from a basketball perspective, it's really strong that side of the world.
Excited to see Anzac when he gets over and what he can do to help this team. You know, I guess the average fan, the college that kind of stands out right now is probably St. Mary's, with the players that come over from that part of the world.
For sure. I mean, St. Mary's has 6 guys on roster right now from Australia, New Zealand. They recruit that side of the world really hard. And we'll definitely be bringing kids in here from that side of the world as well. But at the end of the day, they've got to be able to play and help the program. I'm just not going to bring in Aussie kids, Kiwi kids just because they are. They have to help our program grow, and if they're not, then we'll find wherever we can find them from around the world, that be here in the US or Europe or South America or Asia or Oceania. So you know, we just got to find kids that can come in and help us.
Talking to Aaron Fearne, assistant coach with the Niners. Tell us about this team. What have you seen, having come from the pro ranks, watching this? It's a young team, a couple of seniors. Next season there'll be no seniors in this team. What do you like about the foundation here?
Well, we have a clean slate to start with, so to speak, and we are very young. So you know, we're going to have some tough times at times, and we'll have some unbelievable growing moments as well. The growth that they've shown in this short time has been very impressive. Really encouraged by the performance at Charleston the other day against a older veteran, you know, experienced team that's had some success. I mean, I'm a big believer in shared experiences, and we haven't shared anything together right now on the basketball court, and that's how you grow. And so hopefully we can get a core group of guys here that can play together for a number of years and go through some great times and some good times and some bad times and some really tough ones, and grow from that together. And you know, that will help us as they get older and become sophomores and juniors and seniors, and reflect back on those moments that have been really tough. And because I mean, it's tough to deal with failure, but some people really struggle to deal with success as well, and we have to go through that together. And the fight that this group has shown in the games that we've played to date has been really impressive. Definitely been in some situations where it could get ugly pretty quickly, and they've refused to let that happen, and that's been a real positive.
Finally, before I let you go, just maybe some of the growth you've seen with Jalen Haslam this year since camp started, and picking up the defense. And you know, one of the worries coming in was, you know, staying out of foul trouble, and he's kind of done a pretty good job at that. And also Milos Supica, who just told us this is something really totally new for him.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to talk on what they've been through here, but obviously the program struggled, and you know, Coach Sanchez coming from where he's come, you know, the programs that I've coached, you've had to use a little bit less than what other teams have got, and you have to find a way to compete, and we've done that. But it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of hard work and doing it possession after possession, day after day, and that's been the biggest challenge for them. But they've done a great job of it. They have grown. Just, again, getting back to what I said earlier, just understanding the game and how simple the game can be. You can make the game very difficult if you don't make the right reads. And you know, the international game, which, you know, Ron and I have had a lot of experience with, it's a passing game, where really the American game is more of a dribble game. So we're just trying to filter a bit of that out and filter a bit of the passing game in and making great decisions, because to me there's nothing more beautiful than the game when it's a really good ball movement team game, and the good NBA teams do that. I mean, the Warriors, the Spurs, those teams of the past, they have an unbelievable way of playing team ball and moving the ball, and that's what we want to do here. Sounds great, Coach. Thanks so much. Really enjoyed the time, and good luck this weekend, Wake Forest. Appreciate it. Thanks for it. Aaron Fearne, assistant coach, joining us here, back with Coach Sanchez for the rest of the show coming up on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Bring all the gifts for under the tree. And while you're at it, bring the tree. Ford F-150. Best-in-class payload. Best-in-class towing. Built for the holidays.
Now get 0 for 72 on F-150, or get an additional 1,000 holiday bonus cash on top of other offers at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Welcome back to Gold Mine Live with the head coach Ron Sanchez joining us again here at Norms of the Student Union. I want to thank assistant coach Aaron Fearne for joining us. And before we talk about Coach Fearne, Coach Sanchez, let's go back. Milos was our player guest today, and he mentioned he's excited about the trip to Hawaii, the Diamond Head Classic coming up right before Christmas. And one thing I think sometimes we forget, these young kids that are here, it's a college experience, and this is a chance for them to do something. For Milos, he said it's always been a dream come true to go to Hawaii. He's never been there, right, and to do that plus play basketball there, pretty exciting. No, definitely. I hope he doesn't think he's going out there for a vacation. I'll tell you that much, because we're going out there to work. But it is. This is definitely part of the student-athlete experience. To experience something new. Obviously, he's from Europe, and a lot of our players have never been to Europe. And I'm hoping that maybe at some point during my tenure here, I can take a group there and introduce them to a different culture and see something that they potentially won't ever do, during their lifetime. That's the great thing about the summer programs too, that you get to make these trips occasionally and see different parts of the world. I know Coach Consuegra's women's team went to Spain this past summer. No, that's right, they did. It's our team at Virginia actually went to Spain a few years ago. So Kara and I sat down and had a few discussions about a lot of things, particularly some safety things, and but also about just the overall experience for her student athletes, and how amazing it was for us, not only as a staff but also as a team. So for you, of course, it's your first year as a head coach, first time you get to develop your own staff, and one of the things you're looking for, you found in Coach Fearne. Tell us what that was when you're out there trying to make this staff, and what you saw that was so attractive. And the former head coach who has that experience at the pro level, a different culture as well, right. So he brings a lot to the table. No, definitely. I've known Aaron for a long time, and he's a very good friend of mine, and that's not the reason why he was hired. We've actually became friends because he's such a good coach. So when this opportunity presented itself, I really sat down and put a lot of thought into our staff pieces that needed to be filled. Obviously, me being a first-time head coach, I wanted a former head coach to join me, and not for any other reason other than I think it's a strength to say I have two head coaches on my staff, and I think Aaron definitely has filled that void. He might have close to 600 games under his belt as a head coach. Has had a lot of experience. Came from a pro team that competed at a high level with minimal resources, and that part of it was really attractive to me, because that told me
that he was a guy that knew excellence, and that excellence didn't have anything to do with money and resources, but more so with a mentality and an approach. And him being on a team with minimal resources meant that he was the head coach, the GM, and all of those things. So from a recruiting standpoint, I mean, he and I had discussions over the years over players in the U.S. that, you know, he was trying to attract to come and play on his pro team. So I knew that his eye for talent, the things that he valued, the character component and things like that will be essential for us. And I already knew that that was something that he embodied and appreciated.
And so much young talent, too, over there in New Zealand and Australia. We already see that with one of our recent signees coming to Charlotte.
No, definitely. He came in, actually, the reason why Fearne and I became friends early on was we recruited a kid at Washington State. His name is Aaron Baines. Aaron is now currently with the Celtics. This is his third pro team. I think, you know, he played for the Spurs, won a world title there, then went to the Pistons, and is now with the Celtics, obviously doing really well. You know, Fearne was actually the reason why he joined us at Washington State. Did a great job helping him develop as a young player, and then trusted us to continue in Aaron's development. And obviously, you know, he's had a great professional career and was not a guy that was supposed to have this kind of success. So, you know, Aaron does know young talent, knows how to develop talent, and you know, when he saw this young guy, he said, hey, you know, he's not Aaron Baines, but he has Aaron Baines type characteristics. And man, I was like, okay, I'm on board, you know, because obviously Aaron helped us have a great time at Washington State.
All right, Coach, we'll take one of our last two breaks. We're going to get in before the top of the hour. Come back. We've got Wake Forest coming up on Thursday. Talk about that. Right after this is Goldmine Live on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Bring all the gifts for under the tree. And while you're at it, bring the tree. Ford F-150. Best-in-class payload. Best-in-class towing. Built for the holidays.
Now get 0 for 72 on F-150, or get an additional 1,000 holiday bonus cash on top of other offers at your Carolina Ford dealer.
And welcome back to Goldmine Live. The Niners this week going on the road to Wake Forest. Then we get back home on Sunday afternoon, a 2 o'clock game on Sunday afternoon against the Bulls of South Florida. Back with head coach Ron Sanchez, and just came back from the game down in Charleston this last weekend against the College of Charleston. And we've talked a little bit about this more off air, but you know, the excitement, I think, the fan base, Coach, of what you guys are doing right now, and it's a work in progress, and we know that it's going to be, you know, baby steps every game and get to that ultimate goal at some point. But you know, I noticed at Charleston we had about probably 20-30 Niner fans that made that trip, and it's a great travel destination city. Plus, you get to see a Niner basketball game. But across the way, Scotty Olson. Scotty is a Niner alum that graduated in the mid-2000s and now lives up in Asheville. His dad, Stan Olson, was a longtime sports reporter for the Charlotte Observer. I saw Scotty across the way. So these Niner fans are excited again about Niner basketball.
No, listen, man, first I want to say thank you to Scott for coming over. You know, really appreciate that. Wish we would have had an opportunity to chat. I love to hear about the past and you know, things of that nature. It kind of is it's just an encouraging thing. As I said it during my press conference, you know, I definitely want to, you know, connect the past to the present, you know, and there's a bridge there, and having those experiences is, you know, is good. But no, we did have a good amount of fans in the back, and you know, you know when you have fans in there because you know, when refs make bad calls, they start booing, and I was trying to encourage them to boo the refs a little bit because I felt they missed a few calls, you know, during the game. I think at one point,
more than a few.
Yeah, I think the foul count was like 12-1, you know, at one point. And I said, is this normal? You know, I felt like, oh, this is really a road game, you know. But anyway, you know, that being said, it was nice to see the fans back there. You know, I saw Judy Rose back there still supporting, you know, brought a great smile to my face, you know, seeing her and, you know, and a few others. You know, really appreciate them taking the time to come and support us, particularly on the road. Thank you very much.
And you weren't imagining things either. Yeah, I was looking up there too. It was like 7 minutes ago in the game. There was like 4 fouls the entire game. This is crazy. So you're not imagining things. Hey, as we we talk about the past too, and I know you've spent a lot of time, and it's really great that you have this relationship now with Coach Lee Rose, and of course that was the Final Four team back in '77, and what he meant to the beginning of this program, and I know your visits are making him awfully happy too.
No, listen, I cannot thank the Rose family enough for opening their doors, and for Coach opening his history book to me. I really enjoy. I mean, I wake up excited the mornings that I know that I'm supposed to stop by his house and have a cup of coffee, and we just talk basketball. He's so wise. Obviously, so much knowledge of the game. Not many coaches can say that they took 2 teams, into that level of play, and for him to be, kind enough to share his experiences, and hopefully, assist me in avoiding a few landmines as I travel this road. I'm really thankful, to him and to his wife, for opening their doors to their home for me. And the introduction actually came from Mark Cologne, who used to work in the athletic department. I'm, thankful to him for making the introduction.
And you had a great point a little while ago. We're going to do this in one of the future shows coming up when it's a full men's basketball show, and bring in assistant coach Byron Dinkins, who's now back with the program, and maybe invite Mark too, because talk about the days when Dink first got here with Coach Mullins and what that was like. He's already told me that this reminds him a lot of that time with the team that Coach inherited and what they became by the time he graduated. That could be a fun show.
Oh, definitely. Byron is great because he too has stories, and I'm just like, Byron, listen, I just need a 150-pound kid that looks like you, that shoots it like you, that we can steal from the city to come help us turn this thing around. It's funny because he does share, kind of where things were, and he's really encouraging. Brian is doing such a great job with the guys here, particularly when we have, recruits on campus, and I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that he decided to join us in this journey.
Exciting time to be a 49er right now. We'll take a time out, talk about that Wake Forest game. It's Thursday night. There's a lot of folks, as Coach mentioned, in Charleston. The trip is a lot shorter, folks, to Winston-Salem. Want to see some green out there at Joel Coliseum on Thursday night. Niners taking on the Demon Deacons. Back with more on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Bring all the gifts for under the tree. And while you're at it, bring the tree. Ford F-150. Best-in-class payload. Best-in-class towing. Built for the holidays.
Now get 0 for 72 on F-150, or get an additional 1,000 holiday bonus cash on top of other offers at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Well, welcome back to Gold Mine Live. Just a short time left here on the show. A couple of minutes, Coach, to talk about Wake Forest. This game coming up on Thursday. Brandon Childress, the leading scorer. But here's the team. Coach Manning's team's 4-3 right now. And it's interesting because they're giving up 75.7. They're scoring 75.7. If they played an 8th game, they might be 4-4. We're their 8th game. That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. Yeah. No. We are excited to go into an ACC venue. Our schedule is really challenging, and as I said before, we are excited about it because I think we will be an improved team after we go through this, what we call kind of this gauntlet that we're in right now. But they are a good team. When you have, again, another team that has 2 guys scoring 17, 16 points a game, that's a big focus, and 2 guys that are averaging right below 10 points a game. I mean, they can definitely put the ball in the basket. So our defense, again, will be challenged. They got some size, athleticism. Danny is he's one of the better offensive coaches, to be honest. Having had experience going against him, you never know what you're going to get. So we have to be very, very well prepared.
Quickly, the bow time challenge, the biggest challenge in front of you against Wake Forest.
Right now, our challenge is more with us than it is with the opponent, because we're not deep, and And what we want our team to be is a team that just plays hard. You know, when you play hard, you get tired. You know, so for us, our challenge is, you know, being mentally tough enough to endure, you know, kind of the toughness that's going to be required to play that hard for that long. And you know, I think we'll get better. You know, we'll find ways to continue to improve in that area.
Coach, thanks so much. Show's over. The hour's in the books, and we're excited about the game against Wake on Thursday night. Best of luck.
Thank you so much, man. I'll tell you one thing. I always love your shoes. You got some serious, you know, shoe game, as the guys like to call it,
green,
man.
Coach. It needs a 9 or green.
Hey, listen, the difference between you and I is that you make everything look good.
Coach Sanchez, thanks so much. We'll see you on Thursday night against Wake Forest. Game time 7. Our pregame show starts at 6:30 here on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network. Thanks, everybody. So long.